Now look, I'm not one of these Tucker Carlson acolytes, nor am I Bobby Kennedy Jr. Well, maybe Bobby Kennedy Jr., but not Tucker. But let me explain to you again why they're important, because nobody's explaining this to you. Nobody's describing this. It's the usual stuff. You get the most mindless news, missing the significance of it. It's not how many viewers were lost after Tucker was removed. We're going to be talking about that. That's not it. That's not it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something even more important, something very simple. But let me just explain something first. Before we get into this, I want to talk to you about a great sponsor. And I'm sorry, but I've been a MyPillow fan for, well, forever. Especially after Bed Bath & Beyond decided to give these guys the boot because of their owner's political orientation. Can you believe that? Now listen, I don't advocate necessarily everything that Mike Lindell has said. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know. I can't tell you. But what I like, what he advocates, are pillows. That's it. The MyPillow 2.0, with his Tempur-Pedic buy one, get one free mattress toppers, Giza sheets, coffee, you name it. And the slippers. This is American made. This is an American institution and an American success story. And the fact that they're picking on this guy is something that I've always said, wait a minute. So you've won me. And he's been good to us, and I want you to be good to him. It's our friends, our folks at MyPillow.com. And if you put in promo code Lionel, by the way, MyPillow.com promo code Lionel or MyPillow.com/Lionel, don't use any other promo code. I don't care about any other radio station, any other person. Don't use it. Use Lionel, Lionel, not Lionel. I don't know why people say this. Like Lionel rhymes with vinyl, one L. Okay? Do this. MyPillow.com. There's a link here. Click on support him, support our show, support us, and get the greatest products you can imagine. Okay? Good. Now let me get down to brass tacks. For some reason or another, I don't know what it is, but most people have missed the point that Tucker Carlson and Bobby Kennedy represent two watershed moments here in American politics. Listen to what I'm saying. Democrats and Republicans mean nothing. Two sides of the same code. Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi. Burger King, Wendy's. American League, National League. Do you think there's some huge significant difference between? No, nothing. And what Fox News is doing right now, because forget it, Fox News is only important because they represent basically the official station of the Republican Party. And you know what it is? Nothing. Look at what they're talking about. Blinken in the memo. That doesn't even cover it. You've got people like Tommy Lahren. Look, with all due respect, good for her. But you've got to be kidding me. I'm an adult. I've been studying this my whole life, and you're throwing Tommy Lahren at me? Are you kidding me? Or Judge Janine? Or some comic? Do you really think some guy named Typhus? Do you see what's happening? Get rid of Tucker because he talked about things that were deeper. Now, he's not perfect. Don't think for 1 minute that he really is plumbing the depths of everything, but he is like Ed Whitten compared to these people. They're like Mr. Rogers. It's silly. It's nothing. It's base. It's simple. The usual stuff. No hits, no runs, no errors. And that's the Republican Party. But all of a sudden, this Tucker guy comes along and he's talking about Ukraine and Russia and maybe giving you a narrative that other people don't necessarily abide. And also he's talking about things like UFOs, kind of, sort of, but not really. That was very, very titular. He wasn't even going close enough. But he's talking about other things, uniparty and the like. He mentioned Orban. He mentioned actually having a degree of depth to show you more of the bigger picture. And Bobby Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy has covered, I mean, if there's anybody who is as singularly consonant with the way I think, it's Bobby Kennedy. And I keep thinking to myself, this can't be. I must be missing. Not a Kennedy and his own family turned their back on him. Oh, he's good. He was decrying this kind of a new world order reset since, American imperialism and Allende. That's my kind of stuff. My view of the world is more, dare I say, you're going to get it in foreign European press. Mine is more international. Oh yeah. Oh no, I don't. Listen, I know this sounds highfalutin, but I am, put it this way. I have always said, you're missing the point. American news, American media, and American issues have been base. Now, these two people, let me explain to you something. This is why it's important. For the first time, I would stop what I was doing. I would stop. If I were a billionaire, influencer, I would go to campus after campus. I would, if we even have those anymore, I would go on social media and I would say, listen to what we're saying. Two people here. One that you would think is a prototypical conservative, who was Tucker, but he's really not. And one who you think is a prototypical an archetypal Democrat and liberal, and he's not, though they might have some. Put them together and you have a chiral opposite. Not like a mirror image. They complement. You can't superimpose them. This is where we are. There are people in the world like me who say, I think we've already exhausted the subject of gender issues in sports. Not that that's not important, but we've killed that story. We have destroyed it. I want to move on. We're talking about this notion of hegemony. We're talking about a unipolar world. We're talking about using the intel state as a truncheon, as a bludgeon, as some type of a fulcrum against international comity, respect. Nobody has explained to you yet how Europe works, especially after a post-Soviet Union, post-Kennan, and a kind of a Mearsheimer world, realism. Nobody's even discussed that. You haven't even understood what China stands for, what China represents. And if I was going to tell you something, you better respect these people. You better understand it. This is what I'm trying to tell you. And maybe Tucker could do this. I think he's on his way. Bobby Kennedy too. But my goal is very simply this. I want you to understand how they think. Be empathic. You can sit around like Maria Bartiromo all day long and talk about how terrible China is. I know, I got it. I know about that. That's not what I want to hear. I want a new politics, a new party, not a uniparty, a new way of looking at things, irrespective of party. I want people who are able to talk about things like biomedical tyranny and biomedical martial law. I want to be able to look at how the world is going to be dealing with international sovereignty and individual sovereignty. You've got to ask yourself this question. Think about this. There could very well be a case in which you as a person, let's say, are virulent. You are teeming with hepatitis. You are a walking contagion everywhere you go. Or you have some, in the old days when we talked about that, it was during the AIDS outbreak. People were going out and people who were HIV positive, who were having indiscriminate sex. What is your individual autonomy compared to the safety of the world by virtue of your traversing and the like and spreading and disseminating your particular pathogen? Think about that. How do you balance that? That's what we have to talk about. But we're not. It's an either-or world. We have to figure out, how do we fit in the world? How do we look at realpolitik? It was redundant, but do you think, well, let me ask you, better yet, this attack on the Kremlin, who do you think that put? You think Putin did that to himself? You think he blew up his own place? Could it be? Could be. You think it's a false flag? You think so? You want to talk about it? Nord Stream 2, you want to talk about that? You think he blew up his own pipeline? Where's Germany in all this? What happens? Where does this fit in? How does this fit into the world? This is the thing I cannot understand. Let me explain something to you. This is very, very important, very, very critical. There are things that are happening right now which I find fascinating. And what we're seeing right now is something which is difficult for me to explain. Difficult to explain to a lot of folks, because they don't understand where we're going with this. They don't understand how things fit into the world. Let me ask you something very, very quickly. I made a note of this, and you have to hear this out. Can you tell me the difference between, can you explain to me ESG via WEF, HRC and CEI, DEI, BLM, and CLS, CRT, and the CRITs? Can you explain that to me? World Economic Forum and ESG grays in the right. Human Rights Campaign, HRC, and CEI, Corporate Equality Index. Can you tell me how that works? Because that's what Anheuser-Busch was about. Can you talk about DEI? Can you talk about BLM? Can you talk about, well, BLM they're still there. What about CLS, Critical Legal Studies, and Critical Race Theory, and the CRITs, CRITS? Can you explain this to me? How does this work? Where does this fit in? I want somebody to explain this to me, not Tommy Lahren, with all due respect, or Judge Janine, or Gut Bucket, or any of these other folks. That's childish. You want kindergarten news? Please, have at it. It's a free country. But there are a lot of us who need to go beyond that. And we go to citizen, civilian, alternative, and foreign news. That's where we're learning it. And right now, Tucker Carlson and Bobby Kennedy Jr. pose existential threats to you would call the Uniparty, the Heritage Party, whatever you want to call it. I'm putting my money behind them. And it may not be, and listen, I don't want to get to know these people. I don't know if I would like them. I don't know if they're my cup of tea. They're not out to be my friends. I have enough friends. What I want leadership, and I want new ideas, and I want people to wake up. You got that? Good. Now do me a favor. You better support my friends at mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel. Just do what I say. Also, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment as you see fit.